Hi everybody, how's it going? My name is Sabina, I'm the left-handed alchemist, and welcome to my channel. It's been a minute since I've filmed myself making a video, talking about so many things. Today, actually, I want to show you guys the process of me making 15 pendants from start to finish. That's right, 15 pendants. 15 pendants. I'd say about 3 weeks ago, I just got this urge to make a bunch of just simple gemstone pendants. The idea was to pair them with this carabiner style chain, kind of trendy right now. I think it's really fun. I love layering necklaces and kind of, customizing your own look. So I wanted to make simple things that could go with my symbols pieces. Here are those. Ding! Beautiful, simple pendants. Tell the story of your life. It's a great time. Pair them with the gemstone pendants and you could have a whole look. I chose 15 stones. I don't know why I chose 15. It's just how many pieces called to me. 15 stones just shined a little brighter than the other ones, and I chose them. And I said, it could be fun to make one pendant every day. And then along with making a pendant every day, make a video about that pendant. And over the last, I would say 3 weeks or so, I have been posting those videos kind of in real time for you guys to see the process of me building this collection from start to finish and the evolution of my thoughts and the process from the first pendant to the last pendant. I just finished the video for the last pendant today. I have to say I'm quite excited. I think it turned out very well. I'm very pleased with this collection as a whole, and you will hear the process from the beginning of the collection to the end throughout the course of the next, several minutes. I'm gonna compile all the videos that I created that I posted on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm gonna just kind of put them all here for you to view all at once for those of you who don't have those social media platforms, but you're still interested in seeing the journey along the way. As of now, all of these pieces are available. I'm posting this video on the same day that the collection goes live. Full moon drop, something very symbolic about releasing things on the full moon, releasing collections, releasing work. And this is a very magically charged collection, I would say. I channeled every single gemstone, let the gemstone kind of communicate with me how it wanted to be encased in silver. And yeah, now they're all available to you. Each piece, as you'll hear later on in the collection, each piece has its own energy reading. So instead of pulling tarot cards for this collection, I just straight channeled each of the pieces, and they all have a very unique, distinct energy that I think was really fun to discover and uncover and collaborate with over the last several weeks. So yeah, I poured my soul into these pieces, and I hope that shows, and I hope that you enjoy them. So I'm gonna quit yapping for now. Follow the links down below in the description if you are interested in purchasing a piece for yourself, if anything catches your eye. Down below, everything I make has its intention to find the right person at the right time. So maybe you're one of those people. There's no way for me to know. That's quite frankly none of my business. So yeah. Enjoy the video. Welcome to day 1 of making a pendant every day for the next 15 days. I really wanted to challenge myself to make something every single day and just show up to my bench and exercise a little bit of my creative energy. So I pulled 15 of my favorite stones, and I decided that I'm going to make a pendant every day and just see how it goes. Day 1 is Moonstone, and she is so flashy, I can't even get over it. Moonstone is great for intuition and guidance and just really becoming more acquainted with your inner world. If you're into that metaphysical stuff, I am, so I'm hoping you are too. Part of what's really exciting about this challenge is a commitment. I have had a hard time with my discipline the last couple years. Just my entire creative practice has changed a lot. I went from using my creative energy as a way to calm my anxiety, which never really worked, if I'm being completely honest, to an authentic expression of my inner being. Years of therapy occurred in between those two mindsets, but I'm at a place now where I'm ready to actually show up and show you guys what I have to offer. I think honestly, I got really caught in the trap of purpose and thinking that purpose has to be this all-encompassing thing that is this one thing that I do for the rest of my life. And what I've come to realize is purpose is something that maybe has many different seasons and can be many different things throughout my life. And so my purpose for a couple years was healing some generational trauma and deconstructing a lot of the ways that I was operating in the world that were not in alignment with my authentic being. And then I kind of sat in the void for a while, not really knowing what I'm doing. And now I feel like even if I have many different purposes throughout my life, in this present moment, I feel like it's to make beautiful things. And so here we are kicking off this mindset shift with a little challenge to make something every single day. It's like 2 hours at most I have to spend at my bench, and it's been a fun way to exercise my creative energy. I mean, we're only on day 1. I'm really excited to see where we are at the end of this challenge. And I decided to go with a design that I have been playing with over the years. I call it my agate design. I've been working closely with the dark divine feminine over the last couple of years. And this design really honors that guiding force within, like that light in the dark that you hold on to even when you're kind of scared and you don't really know what's going on with your life. But you know, if you can just hold on to the light, you'll make it through to the other side no matter what. I think at the end of this challenge, I'll release everything at once, make it all available to you guys so you can wear these pieces and enjoy them in your own lives. So yeah, thanks for being here. That was day 1 of this 15-day challenge to make something beautiful every single day. And by every single day, I mean Monday through Friday, because I take Saturday and Sunday off because I like to rest. So follow along to see how this goes. Welcome to day 2 of making a pendant every single day for 15 days, a self-guided challenge where I have challenged myself to show up and create something every day in a very slow, intentional way. Today, we're going to be working with rose quartz, a cute little stone that's great for opening the heart space and fostering feelings of self-care and self-love. I felt like this stone really needed to be set in my portal design. I love how pendants sit over the heart space, and working with different kinds of gemstones and different kinds of designs and intentions, we can work with the heart space to really crack you open like a little egg and make you feel things deeply, you know? And I felt like rose quartz was like a really nice soft way to do that, ushering in those soft, comforting, welcoming, nurturing feelings that the divine feminine can hold. I think the most challenging part of this pendant for me as the creator was working a lot slower. I have a tendency to work on a lot of things at once, so my inclination is to make all 15 stone settings and work on all 15 pendants at the same time. And part of this challenge for me is to slow down and be very intentional and be very present with each design. I really like to allow each gem to speak to me and essentially be a channel through which each gem tells me how it wants to be set and how it wants to be adorned on somebody. And being a lot slower in the process allows me to spend more time working and really perfecting the craftsman side of this. So after it was done tumbling, I had to take off some fire scale, which is when there's like this like purplish kind of haze to the metal that can discolor over time, and to me is just something that is like good craftsmanship to take it all out, as well as creating a step for the gemstone. Basically, the stone setting was too tall, and so I created this like spiral kind of portal-y design to go in it to hold the gemstone a little bit taller, give it all a little bit more lift, but also to really push that portal-y aspect that the whole design kind of has. What I really love is that you can see it through the translucent gemstone. So yeah, that was day 2. Follow along to see day 3. This is day 3 of making a pendant every day for 15 days. Today we're working with some garnet. I gotta be honest with you guys, today's the first day we actually completely fail. I went into this whole thing knowing I'm gonna fail at least once, because anytime you're playing with fire and precious metals, there's always a chance that something's gonna melt. And something that I've noticed during my decade-long practice with this medium and craft is that if I'm in a bad mood, it's probably not gonna end super well. And I was so crabby today, holy cow. It was like every little thing was bothering me. I kept bumping my head on the tripod. It wasn't going well. I couldn't figure out a good design. Like, I just wasn't feeling very confident about the design. But I do know that sometimes if I just put on a good podcast and I settle in, I can turn things around. And here during this solder, you can kind of see things don't exactly go the way I planned. I wanted to have a mixed metal moment. a little copper with the silver and it just wasn't working. So part of it melted and I was clearly very upset about it. But I thought, you never know. Sometimes a design will develop over the course of me making it and it ends up better than I originally thought. So I put some pieces together. I changed my plan. I thought, it's not over yet, you guys. Anything could happen at this point. Maybe I'm going to make something even better than I originally anticipated. And I add a few design elements, a couple of balls of silver, and I actually really like where it's at right now. But it's about to turn completely, absolutely terrible. It was not a good idea to add the copper with the silver. This is my first time using recycled sterling silver that I rolled out myself, and something happened. The jump ring that was supposed to go around that small stone setting just completely dissolved, like melted into the back plate. I don't know what happened. And the only thing I could do was scrap the entire piece. So I melted it down into a little ball of silver and I put it in my scrap bucket, and it will eventually become something else one day, but not today. Today, I decided to shut down my studio and go do something else. So we're going to try again on Monday. Welcome to day 4 of making a pendant every single day for 15 days. Or really at this point until I have used all 15 stones and made pendants out of them. I say that because day 3 was complete fail. I'm doing an attempt number 2 on this cute little garnet gemstone. If you want to hear about the failure, it's the video before this on my profile. Go give it a watch. I can say this one was a success. This one worked out. We made something that was really cool, and it was because of the failure the previous day that I was able to come up with a design that I actually felt really confident about. So there was a lesson to be learned within the failure. I'm working with recycled sterling silver for the first time ever. I finally have the tools to reclaim all of the silver that I've been collecting since 2019. While this pendant was a success, and you'll see the end product at the end of this video, the failure from the day before brought up a lot. I have struggled a lot with feelings of shame and feelings of not being good enough. And I've contemplated whether or not I share this kind of thing on the internet because I'm really not trying to trauma dump. I'm really not trying to make anybody feel bad for me or play into this victimhood narrative. I'm working on it, you guys. And I feel like a lot of the shame comes with showing myself to the world. And part of this challenge has been to make a video every single day and share my voice and share my process and thoughts behind what I'm making, which is kind of triggering because my default is to kind of avoid and hide, especially when I'm publicly failing. I'm imagining that there's people behind the scenes ready to throw rotten tomatoes at me, you know what I'm saying? I contemplated quitting the challenge. I really was like, man, you only made it 3 days before you wanted to quit. I thought maybe I should do a challenge in a different area of my life, like working out or, I don't know, drinking water, some stupid shit. And I've come to the realization that that's just me trying to avoid because I'm uncomfortable. I'm publicly failing and I'm sharing this really vulnerable side of myself with the world, and it kind of hurts. But I think that me attempting to make this pendant again and show you my failures anyway is me being resilient and pushing through this bubble of fear that I've had a hard time pushing through. Failure is part of the process. Failure teaches you how to do something better next time, which clearly was the case because this piece is pretty freaking cool. I can share that I'm feeling unworthy, but still try again. So yeah, follow along for the rest of this process, you guys. Welcome to day I have no idea of making a pendant every day and releasing a collection at the end. I originally set out to make a pendant every single day. I picked 15 of my favorite gemstones that I thought would make really cute little simple pendants. And the goal was to make one every single day. And I was good on that until day 3. And then I melted a piece. And, just the timeline got a little knocked loose, But it's okay. We're still going to make all the pieces. It's just going to take a little longer than I was originally anticipating. Today's piece is a lovely amber gemstone that is being set in recycled sterling silver with this cute little classic, I would say, Southwestern inspired design. This piece took a little more than a day because I had to fix part of it. I shared that in the previous video. But I think that this is a really great example as to why handmade jewelry costs what it costs. Because I would say most of the craftsmen who are making handmade jewelry really give a shit about what they're making. We spend a lot of time and energy making sure that it's really good and will last for a long time. And putting that kind of work into a piece of jewelry takes time. It took me a whole day longer to make this pendant than I was originally anticipating. And it's all just part of the process, I take my time making sure that things are good so that they last you forever. Follow along to see the rest of the journey. Welcome to day 7 of making a pendant every day until I have 15 pendants. Today's gemstone is Condor agate. My pal Justin from Pebble River on Instagram cut this stone and it's absolutely perfection. Making this piece out of recycled sterling silver that I rolled out myself on this behemoth machine that has currently been kicking my ass. It is so hard to roll a sheet of metal, oh my god. I strayed a little bit from the norm on the design for this one. The thought with this collection was to create smaller, simpler pendants that could go on the carabiner chains that I'm offering. Little layering pieces. For this one, I couldn't resist making a more statement piece. I felt like that's what the stone was asking for, okay? And personally, I like making bigger pieces. I like making heavy silver pieces that like you can really feel sitting over your heart space. The gem for this one is giving very much walkway to the underworld. And I'm talking the underworld where you like go and you find your shadow and you like find the parts of yourself that you've cast and rejected aside and integrate them back into your wholeness so that you can be your most empowered person. I love dancing in the underworld. It's so fun. Follow along to see the rest of the necklaces come to life. This is day 8 of making a pendant every day until I've made 15 pendants. Today we're working with fire opal, and fire opal is probably one of my favorite gemstones that exists on this entire planet. I think opal in general is just a really incredible stone. It's made basically by fossilized water. A long, long time ago, rivers and streams flowed through rocks and left little deposits of silica, which is a type of mineral that's glassy in nature. That's what gives the opal its spark. Over the millennia, this silica fossilized, and that's what you have when you see an opal. To me, it represents ancient water magic. Personally, I'm very much empowered by water. I find most of my personal power in water. Like I do a lot of workings in rivers, even do cleansing ritual every single time I take a shower. So to be able to make a magical pendant out of fossilized water feels incredible. To share that magic with you also feels incredible. It's my goal to make little magical things for you to spend your life with. Follow along to see the rest of the process. This is day 9 of making a pendant every day until I have 15 pendants. I think really at the heart of this collection that I'm creating is magic and me stepping into my magic and sharing my magic with the world, because honestly, I feel like there's kind of a witch wound I've been working through. And I know I'm not alone in this. Deconstructing Christianity, deconstructing dualistic thinking, deconstructing the idea that darkness is evil, deconstructing that evil even exists beyond just human capacity to inflict pain. And there's part of me that's absolutely terrified to step into it because what if it is actually bad? But because of all this deconstruction work that I've been doing, I understand that bad is very subjective to what perspective you're on. And truthfully, I feel like I can't keep living life scared. Like, this is magical stuff. Just by me making a thing, I'm imbuing it with my magic. But along with that, each piece has intention filled to the brim. The minerals and elements of the actual earth that we live on, working in harmony with you and your intentions to call in the life of your dreams. I'm just an alchemist. I just make this stuff, but you're the one who gets to have a relationship with it, make it part of your life and part of your legacy. I hope that you get to see and feel your own magic, how you could create the life of your dreams with that. Truthfully, the magic is just more fun. This is day 10 of the pendant challenge, a challenge where I show up every single day and I make a pendant until I have a full collection. The insecurity has crept back in, y'all. It's not the insecurity of making a good product. I think that my skills speak for themselves. I really value a high level of craftsmanship. I take a lot of care in making these pieces. Like, I have no problem with my actual skill level when it comes to the craft. It's my ability to speak and have ideas and know how to communicate what I'm doing to the world and have that resonate deeply with people beyond just the voices in my head. I've known for a long time that there's something going on with my voice, like the energy center of my voice, not my actual speaking voice. Like, that's fine. It's my ability to speak freely and to communicate my ideas freely, because I have a lot going on in my head. I have a lot of things to say, but then when it comes to actually making these videos, I freeze up. And the thing that goes through my head is, I don't know. I think when I started this challenge, my goal was virality, which is kind of silly. But what it's turned into is me trying to figure out how to make videos in a way that feels authentic. There are creators who inspire me, who in the past I've tried to emulate so that I could be more like them, so I could have the same kind of success as them. Then I post and it just doesn't feel authentic. Like I know that I'm trying to emulate something that I am not. And there's this voice in the back of my head that's like, ew, no, you're so annoying. God, that was so cringe. Why did you say it like that? Nobody cares about the things you care about. You're a weird little freaky girl. And I'm posting and I'm doing the things anyway, despite what that voice says, because I know the best way to get over shame is to kind of expose it, to shine a light on it, to say it, to like clear it out. And so in a lot of ways, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm expressing a deep frustration with this block around my voice because I don't really know how to resonate with you guys. Don't know what to say to resonate with people. In my own personal life, I have a hard time making friends. I have a hard time connecting with people. I spend a lot of time alone. My best friend is a cat. And that block around really being able to express who I am truly and authentically is holding me back, and I don't know what to do about it. If you're an energy worker of some kind, you know how to work through a throat block, bang my line, because what I've been doing doesn't work. Imagine cutting the cords that are around my throat, and then the next time I imagine them, they're still there. Like, it's not so much of a cord cutting that I can do. I think I actually need help. So I'm gonna leave it at that. If you like what we're doing here and you like the jewelry that's being made and you like the weird authentic rants, hey, cool, hey, hi, all along, because I have a few more pendants to make and I've got a few more rants to also rant. I'm convinced that every gemstone that I work with has its own personality, like its own consciousness. And I am the channeler, and I'm just trying to figure out how best to house this gemstone. What really makes me think this is I have been working on this collection. It's 15 different gemstones, and I'm making a new pendant every day and sharing the process. I have all of the videos up on my profile right now if you want to go see. And I have been really just like going through it. Like mentally, every day that I show up to my bench is so different. And it didn't dawn on me that maybe there's something to me channeling these gemstones that I had never really thought about before. In yesterday's video, I talk about how I'm having a hard time sharing my voice. Like, there's just been a block between my heart and my head. A fear of showing up authentically. I don't actually know. But then I look down and I'm working with Turquoise, which is known for helping to clear the throat. It helps bring balance and restoration to your throat centers. And I'm just like laughing, shaking my head like, oh, duh. It makes me sound crazy. It makes me feel crazy. It makes me feel like I sound crazy when I say these kinds of things because it's just a rock. And maybe it is just a rock. I don't know. Like, it just depends on what you want to believe about it. But I really do feel like everything carries energy. So why can't a turquoise help somebody work through their throat blocks? For this necklace, I wanted to keep things really simple. The original intention with creating this collection was to create a bunch of pendants that could go on carabiner necklaces. So they would be like layering pieces. And it's just kind of gotten out of hand from there because what I'm realizing is I don't really like to make simple things. I like to make big, bold, beautiful things. And this gemstone was just so small. It was like begging to be set in something really simple that could accentuate whatever it is that you're going to be pairing with it. And I think it turned out really perfectly. Like, I'm actually so happy with how cute and small and simple it is. Like, everything these days for me has had to have something like big and grandiose with it. And so to take a step back while I'm in a period of time where I'm kind of figuring things out for myself and just make something simple felt so good. These will all be available, I'm hoping, for the 17th on the full moon, but I'll keep you updated as we go. I want to wait until the whole collection is finished before I actually release them. Follow along to see the rest. This is day 11 of making a pendant every day until I have 15 pendants. We are really in the home stretch on this challenge, you guys. I would say that the first 10 pendants or so, I was just really battling my own insecurities, but something kind of switched this week where I'm actually feeling excited to go to my bench every day and just like tinker for an hour or two and not put a lot of pressure on it and just have some fun creating again. I feel like it was an energy that I had kind of like forgotten how to hold. And really, I forgot how much of creativity is a muscle that has to be worked. When I was a younger artist, I would have told my current self that I need to have a drawing practice. Just draw one little doodle every day, and that's going to keep your creativity fresh. And then I kind of went through burnout, and maybe I really actually just needed a rest. But I would have laughed in her face because, like, yeah, where am I supposed to get that energy from? And I think that there's something to working the muscle, working your creative muscle, but also honoring those times when you just are in creative block and you need to fuel your soul and yourself with experience so that you can return to your creative practice with a fresh perspective. So it's like, yeah, Draw a picture every day. Yeah, make a piece of jewelry every day. Do the thing to work the muscle that helps you build your creative stamina so that you can be more proficient in like working through ideas quickly and have more confidence in actually bringing your ideas to life. Like there is something about having a dedicated daily art practice that makes making art easier in the long run. But there's also the reality that every artist is going to experience artist block at one point in their life. The reality is we're probably all going to experience burnout at some point in our lives. And forcing yourself to use your creative muscles when you're in that space, I think, is not the most helpful thing ever. I had to rest for honestly a couple of years before I could really come back and hold my creative energy the way that I can now. I really think that it's because of this challenge that I have been able to start flexing those creative muscles again in a way that feels good. Like, I don't feel this overwhelming sense of nothing that I'm doing is important. It's important in that I am creating. I'm making something and I am turning ideas into a reality, and I'm being this kind of alchemical figure in all of this where I'm transmuting energetic ideas into tangible objects that you guys get to use and live with and have relationships with eventually. It's reminding me my purpose in all of that. Like, I got a little lost in the sauce of this is about me. It's about me and my artistic practice and me and how I'm creating all of this for you. But really, it's just about me learning how to flex my channeling muscles and my creative muscles so that I can be a vessel through which these ideas flow that need to be birthed for you guys. Like, it really actually is about you guys and creating things that people need to make their lives more better, I guess. Like, this jewelry is not going to save the planet. Jewelry isn't going to feed your kids, but it'll likely feed your soul. I mean, there's so much to adornment and being beautiful and feeling confident in your skin that helps you show up as the best version of yourself. And I know that for myself, when I am not wearing the jewelry that I wear every day, I feel naked. Like, I feel disempowered a little bit. Like, I am fully empowered without my jewelry, but the process of adorning myself and putting on my accessories and choosing what pieces are going to empower me throughout my day is a ritual that I really enjoy participating in every single day. And so to be somebody who gets to turn these ideas and make them into physical objects that get to become a part of your morning ritual or your adornment ritual, however you choose to do that throughout your day for whatever occasions, it feels really special because sure, it's about me and that I'm making these pieces, and that's the part of all of this that I get to experience. But there's a layer to all of this where I don't get to experience the life that these pieces have once they leave my doors. I don't know where they'll end up. I don't know how long they will exist on this planet. At some point, I'm sure some pieces will get melted down and turned into something else. I'm sure some pieces will get passed down like an heirloom, generation to generation, for God knows how long. That's honestly none of my business. And some pieces might even end up in a museum one day or dug up in some kind of archaeological site. And to me, that's the most exciting prospect for all of this. Like, the idea that all of this that I'm creating now could potentially be a relic is just amazing. I mean, I guess relics kind of have a religious undertone to it, which I guess in some ways some of these things do. There's no saints touching this stuff, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it becomes something more when it's ancient. I fantasize about my pieces being ancient one day and how that's just really cool. Like, the impact of this thing that I created having impact on future generations lights a little fire in my heart that feels really good and warm and cozy. So yeah, that was day 11, a piece of Labradorite that helps with guiding your intuition and help guiding you into being your most authentic self. It's like a flashy butterfly wing that got trapped in a gemstone. It's amazing. I'm aiming to have all of these pieces available to you guys by the 17th. I like to release things on a full moon. It just kind of feels symbolic and magical. It's fun. More information on that on my Instagram, and I'll post official dates and times once I have them. Okay, bye. I know I cannot be the only person who had some kind of an awakening because of the Sarah J. Maas universe. And before you scroll, hear me out. What Throne of Glass offered me was a reawakening of my love for reading and storytelling. I read the entire Throne of Glass series during a period of deep grief over the loss of my grandmother last year. And the person that I was on the other side of that series was different. Throne of Glass was genuinely my Roman Empire for a solid 6 months. And the impact of it had me contemplating the role of storytelling on humanity. I mean, it is like one of the most ancient things humans have been doing. And if you really think about it, every major world religion is just a collection of stories and myths. Whether or not they actually happen doesn't really matter. The fact is, these stories shape humanity. They shape the way people see the world. They shape the way people see themselves. And it makes me think about the stories that we're consuming now. How will these stories impact the future myths that people are telling? And the whole thing really makes me consider this idea that gods and goddesses really only exist in story, exist within the context of their stories. I have found myself being called by the Morrigan. She's deeply connected to my Irish ancestors. That's kind of how all of this came about, and I've been learning a lot about her mythology. And I'm realizing that her energy and her story is really similar to other gods and goddesses like Hecate. I feel like Hecate and the Morrigan have very similar lines. And the difference is the way the cultures tell the stories about this archetypal energy, this warrior goddess, underworld goddess energy. And noting the cultural differences is very important, but the heart of how all of this exists is through myth, through story. And it makes me wonder, how did ancient people actually worship and venerate these energies? Was it through storytelling? Was it through ritual? Was it through prayer? I don't know. I think a lot of our ideas of what veneration of a god or deity energy looks like has been really warped because of Christianity. Because I haven't been kneeling at the altar of Aelin Galanthanius, but I have found myself over the last year asking myself, what would Aelin do? Because her fiery, take no shit, leave no stone unturned, love for her community, love for her friends, resilience, and always being willing to take on that next challenge is an energy that I have desperately needed to embody. And so who's to say that in 100 years' time, people will look at our culture as it is right now and not think of these warrior archetypes that pop up in so many different stories and not see them as some type of goddess. That's basically what I was thinking about the whole time I was making this pendant. This design was originally called the Hecate pendant, still is called that, and it further solidifies it. That's exactly the right name for it. Hecate is an ancient, Anatolian goddess. She's originally from Turkey, found her way into Greek and Roman mythology, and she can be really found all throughout Eastern and Western Europe. She's very much a goddess of the in-between, of the crossroads. She will guide you through the underworld to help you integrate your shadow, to show you who you are in your most deepest parts, to help you win that battle with yourself, with those around you, and to come out on the other side more resilient for it. She is the word I'm looking for is torchbearer. She carries the light into your darkest places so that you may integrate your shadow to become the most empowered version of yourself. And her story is one that you get to carry now in the form of a piece of jewelry, a little token of empowerment that even when things freaking hurt, you're going through it and you don't want to face the parts of yourself that you've hidden and are ashamed of and been cast aside by society. If you take the time to feel that pain and look at the things that hurt, you will come out stronger on the other side. You will be one step closer to your most authentic self. We are stepping into an age where we desperately need authenticity. Authenticity will be the game that we play by. It is no longer about fitting in with the crowd. The world needs your light, and you can only shine as bright as you have gone into the depths of your darkness. Does that make sense? The deeper you go into your darkness and integrate that, the lighter your light can shine and the farther it can reach. So yeah, the whole conversation about story and storytelling is something that is beyond this short TikTok video. Relatively short, it's 5 minutes long. And maybe I'll make a YouTube video about it because there's a lot to say. But in the meantime, enjoy this pendant and follow along if you want to see the rest of the collection come to life. This is day 14 of making a pendant every day until I've made 15 pendants. Today's the day where I really felt like I was actually hitting my stride and I wasn't resisting myself every step of the freaking way. This is a testament to showing up daily to your creative practice and just giving yourself a little bit of time to move your creative energy. I was previously really blocked in the world of jewelry. I was just telling myself a lot of stories about how this isn't important, nobody really needs this stuff, this isn't going to feed your family. This isn't going to put a roof over your head. It's not something anybody really needs. But the reality is,
I need to make it. Because there's this thing with being an artist where when you don't create your art, it kind of feels like you're pent up. It kind of feels like you're going to explode. And so I recognize now that this is a need for some people. Jewelry is a need for some people. Feeling beautiful and adorning yourself is a need for a lot of people. Like, it's a need for myself. I put on jewelry today. And so when I quiet those thoughts and I give myself an hour or two every day to move my creative energy, it's like an exponential build. It started off a little rough. It was hard to get into the flow of things. But now I have created a ritual out of making time at my bench that has bled over into other areas of my life. Like, over the last couple of years, I've really been developing a sense of self beyond my creative practice, like my art. Because for a long time, my only sense of self-esteem and my only source of self-esteem was through my jewelry and the art that I created. And I realized how important it is to have hobbies. And because of the time that I'm spending in here nurturing the side of myself, I'm noticing how the other aspects of my life are easier to access. Like, it's easier for me to draw in my sketchbook and have fun, just like flowing and finding a flow state in my drawing. I'm finding it easier to get into a flow state with knitting projects because I have become a knitter in the last year and I love it so much. I'm finding it easier for me to sit down and read books and do the things that I enjoy because I'm spending the time that is necessary to nurture this creative energy within myself. And sure, maybe during the beginning of this whole process, I was really hoping for virality. I was hoping that one of these videos would hit a massive amount of For You pages and that this collection would sell out and that all of a sudden I'd be this overnight success. And now that I have really experienced what this challenge is about, I am glad that I haven't gone viral. I'm glad that there hasn't been a ton of pressure on me because this whole thing has helped me really reawaken my creative flow. And the people who have found these videos that are resonating with what I'm creating are really freaking cool. And I would so much rather have 100 followers who really fuck with what I'm doing, are really down with what I'm creating, than like 10,000 followers who couldn't give less of a shit about what I'm producing. The potency of the people who are resonating with what I'm putting out there is more important to me than having a lot of people looking at what I'm doing. And the whole thing feels really good. Like, it feels like I have found the ground underneath my feet and I can build from here. I can build with a little bit of momentum with where I'm at. I still have a few pieces left in the collection, but I'm already brainstorming what's next. I'm already designing the next symbols line collection. I already have the next batch of gemstones pulled for the next batch of creations. And instead of feeling crippled by fear and anxiety about where these pieces are going to spend the rest of their lives, I'm just focusing on creating them because eventually the audience will find me. The people who are meant to own and cherish and guard these pieces will find them. And the how is none of my business. I am just creating these pieces because I feel like I have to. Energetically charged pieces, created with intention, enchanted with magical properties to help you find your most authentic being and your most authentic self. So for those of you who have been here from the beginning and those of you who find me along the way, thanks. Thanks for spending these last few minutes with me. I know your time is very precious and I'm grateful that you opted to spend this time with me. So follow along if you want to see the rest of the collection come to life. Y'all, this is day 15 of making a pendant every day until I have 15 pendants. And this is the 13th pendant. We are rounding the corner. The challenge is almost done. I was itching to make this pendant from the very beginning. I bought these hearts 2 years ago at the Tucson Gem Show. I had an idea for what I wanted them to be, and for some reason, I just could not bring myself to actually make them into jewelry yet. I don't know if I was scared. I don't know if it just wasn't time for them to be born yet, but alas, I started and I did the first one of hopefully many. The Sacred Heart imagery has been coming to me for a few years. It's slightly associated with Christ, but like the divine feminine aspects of it. The unconditional love, the compassion, the parts of you that feel deeply. It's been a very comforting symbol for me. I don't know if it's culturally relevant, having been living in the Southwest for the last decade, and Guadalupe's influence on the people and the land here, but I feel it, and I don't have time or space to question these things. All I know is I feel the feelings, and so I have to do something about it, and usually doing something about it means making art. So that's what I did. Contemplated not making this piece in this collection and just switching this gemstone out for something else and kind of keeping the theme of all the pieces really similar, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Like, I wanted to make this design so bad. I have a bunch of different hearts and different kinds of gemstones and different sizes, so I think I've decided that this is going to be my next collection, is a whole collection of these Sacred Heart pieces. And do you guys want to see that process? Like, do you want me to do this again when this challenge is over? Do you want me to show you how I make each collection I make? I mean, this whole process has been pretty fun, so I wouldn't mind doing it. But I think before I make the sacred heart pieces, I have to do another symbols collection. For those of you who don't know, I recently developed a line of jewelry called the Symbols line. It's really simple pieces that are based around different symbols that we live our lives by. No gemstones really involved. It's just simple, like it's meant to be pendants that you can wear all day, every day if you choose, and symbols that kind of define who you are and like tell the story of your life. So far, I only have 2 collections out in this line. The first one being an Arizona themed collection. Having just moved from Arizona, I feel like I had to make something to kind of say goodbye to my time there. And then the second collection I did was a bunch of fruit because it was summertime and the fruit were so cute and so delicious looking, and I just had to capture them in silver. I've been trying to decide what I want the third collection to be, and I've been kind of photographing these pieces as I go, taking pictures with the different pendants, with the Symbols line pendants kind of paired with them, and I think I really need to do a collection of either letters or numbers. I'm feeling more drawn to the numbers right now. It's one of those things where I have so many ideas, my hands actually cannot keep up with them. And it's borderline overwhelming to try and execute all these ideas in a timely manner and share them clearly with you guys, because truthfully, I'm like 6 steps ahead. I'm already planning 2 collections ahead of where I currently am at. In the past, I've let that completely overwhelm me and cripple me and like put myself in a place where I don't release anything because it's so overwhelming how many ideas I have. But with this challenge, I'm trying to slow down a little bit and try and carry this kind of slower, more intentional creation into the future collections as well. Because this whole thing has been very fun, so why not incorporate what we've been learning into the future? So what kind of symbols things do you want to see? What kind of pieces do you guys want to see? I'd love to know. And follow along to see the last 2 pendants get created because I think they're gonna be really good. This is day 16 of making a pendant every day until we have 15 pendants, and the light at the end of the tunnel is blinding. For those of you who are here for the first time, hi, welcome. I selected 15 stones and I set out on a mission to make 1 pendant every day until I had the whole collection made. I was anticipating it was going to take 15 days because 15 stones, but I had a couple of hiccups in the beginning of the challenge and it's gone a little longer than I anticipated, but I think overall it has all been very much worth my time. I've learned a lot of lessons along the way. I've been smithing for well over 10 years now, and I've gone through ups and downs with my creativity, just, being an artist. Those of you who have been an artist for a minute kind of understand. You go through cycles where you're really creatively abundant, everything flows really easily, and then sometimes you just go through some personal shit and the flow kind of stops flowing and the artist block is real, and I'm coming out of that, I think, really sincerely with this challenge. Reconnecting to my creative energy, finding the flow again, and figuring out how to navigate making jewelry in a way that's empowering to me. What I've realized along the way during this challenge is that I'm actually working with the energy of these materials that I'm working with, like silver mined from the earth, these earth minerals, gems mined from the earth, and the energy of each stone is very different. And for a long time, I've wanted to make spiritually crystal girl jewelry, but I felt like being woo-woo was kind of cringe. Truthfully, it's kind of fun. And so what I've decided to do for every pendant in this collection is do a little energy reading that you'll be able to find in the product listing when these are finally available on my website. The official date is September 17th. It's being released at 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So figure out how that correlates to where you are in the world and be ready, because they're ready for you. I really believe that each piece was made for a specific person. I don't know who these people are, but you will know if it is you because you'll be called to the piece. I am but a mere vessel through which this energy is moving through. It is my job to do the thing, to make the thing. Put it out there so that the guardian who is meant to have this piece can find this piece. Or these pieces, there's 15 of them. And really stepping into that realization over the course of this challenge has been very empowering. It makes the whole process of making jewelry worth it again. Because I've also been navigating my insecurities over the last 16 days, you guys. I have been operating from this place of jewelry is not something that people need because it doesn't feed their family and put a roof over their head. But the reality is, if I feel the strong desire and need to make this stuff, and I understand that I am in service to this higher creative being that is connected to all of us in some way, then somebody probably needs this. And it's fulfilling this thing that I can't quite see and I don't quite understand. And it's not my job to figure it out. It is my job to answer the call and to make the beautiful thing and to put it out there so that the right person who needs it can find it. So that might be you. You might be the one who needs this piece because this is a fierce protector piece. I'm not joking, you guys. The energy that I was picking up from the black onyx in this necklace was giving mama bear. It was giving, we are going to protect you from everything that is not in your highest good and your highest interest, whether you like it or not. It's giving soft compassion in like a guiding hand, but like the guiding hand of a mother who knows what's best for her child, even if the child can't see it. I have one more pendant left in the collection to create, so stay tuned for that video because it drops tomorrow. Thanks for being here, y'all. Thanks for spending these last few minutes with me. It's been a pleasure. It's the last day of the pendant challenge, day 17 of making a pendant every day until I've made 15 pendants. Woo woo, we made it. Today's piece is really special. I bought these black tourmaline pieces in Tucson like 2 or 3 years ago. And I've just been holding on to them. I haven't quite known what to do with them. I've had some ideas, but I didn't really know what to do to bring them to life. During the course of this challenge, it kind of came to me that I should do the idea that I've had for years that for some reason I just never really executed. I was a little nervous because at the beginning of this challenge, I tried to use little bezel cups and do multiple stone designs, and the piece completely failed. So I was like, oh great, maybe this whole collection is just supposed to be one stone. For the most part, that's been true. You know, most of these gems have only really needed one stone to make the piece what it needs to be. But one thing about me is I love pairing black tourmaline and labradorite together. A heavy protective stone with an intuition stone to me feels like magic. It feels like the way they are meant to be. And it just so happens that I have a small collection of tiny little labradorite gemstones that would look so perfect and cute on the cap of this piece. And so I figured, what's the worst that could happen? I melt the piece, I have to make it again. Big freaking deal. We already overcame that challenge 14 days ago. But you guys, it was successful. Everything worked out and the piece is incredible. Black tourmaline for protection, for cleansing your energy field. Labradorite for intuitive guidance. It helps you really get to know your discernment and trust your intuition. Paired with your intention and how you want to work with this is a powerhouse piece, you guys. And it was a great piece to close out this collection with. All of these pieces will be available on September 17th at 7 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. I've already started working on all the product listings. It's going to be a great time for everybody involved. All 15 pieces have their own individual energy readings. A little passage on the energy of the stones and the energy of the piece as a whole and how it can support you and what you need to accomplish to achieve your dream life. Each piece channeled and created with the intention to find the right person at the right time. So use your intuition. Figure out for yourself if any of these pieces are meant for you, and you will know if anything is meant for you because you'll feel it. Like you'll just know. However, your intuition decides to speak to you and tell you, hey, this one's for you. Listen to that because it might be, but also it might not be, and that's okay. Maybe there's another piece that's ready and waiting for you or something that hasn't been made yet. So follow along maybe and see if there's anything that you might like at some point in the future. To be honest, like saying that line was so cringe and I kind of want to delete it, but like I have to get over this feeling of self-promotion being cringe because your girl's got to eat. And also your girl really wants you to have these pieces in your possession so that they can be loved and enjoyed because they do more good being loved by you guys than they do sitting in a box in my studio. So I'm going to quit yapping for now. In the meantime, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for spending the last few minutes with me. It has been a pleasure.
Oh, it's me again, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun making all of these pieces, and I just wanted to remind you that all of these are now available on my website. I am posting this video as the collection drops, so there's no waiting. You can just go. If you're seeing this in real time, you can go and you can find the pieces. And if you're seeing this later on down the road, hey, there's probably still some ready to ship stuff in my website if you are called to the kind of energy I'm putting out into the universe. Hello, welcome. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'm so grateful that you chose to spend your precious, valuable time consuming this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And at the very least, just a little entertainment, you know, just a little time to relax and have some you time. So yeah, thanks for being here. Follow, subscribe, do all the things if you want to support this channel. At the very least, you could subscribe, you can hit the like button, you can leave a comment, tell me what you think. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok. I'll have that in my link tree link down below. And yeah, thanks for being here. I love you.